So, seam retention. Lonely men have the ability to fortify their mind. Loneliness can make or break you. I don't want you guys, because I make videos about, a man being lonely and stuff, and why, it's not good for you to have bad habits and be alone and stuff. And I don't want you to think that being lonely or being alone, because I think you can be alone and not be lonely. Let me explain. And so, uh, the reason I say that is because um a lot of people can be alone and be thriving in life because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And those are the guys that can fortify themselves, where they can have an even stronger mind. They can, be even better, and they can really upgrade themselves when they're by themselves. You know, um, it can break you by if you get alone and you're not taking care of yourself. Just like with anything, if you're social, like, just if you're not taking care of yourself in general, it's not always so much about if you're alone or if you're around people, but it can amplify. If you're not taking care of yourself, being alone is gonna amplify that. You get what I'm saying? So it's gonna make it even worse. And if you taking care of yourself, being alone is gonna amplify that. So if you're taking care of yourself, you're gonna be, even in an even better place. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're gonna be in an even worse place when it comes to, being alone and all that. And because I've been in a place where I feel like I play it off like I'm alone a lot, but I'm not alone a lot. I still have friends that I hang out with on the weekends. Dating, that's more. I feel like I have to get out more and go do stuff more with that. But you know, dating, I feel like it's not as, I'm not as out there as I want to be. That's why I want to get back into cold approaching and stuff like that. And I can make a whole. I'm gonna make more videos about that and talking about that and get more into that. But my dating life, it's not. I'm not mad at it right now, just because I feel like with me being on semen retention, you know what I'm saying. I'm okay with everything right now. I feel like if I've, I'll get into that in another video. But uh, yeah, man, like a man being alone, he can fortify himself. And I looked up the word fortify. It's like you can have like a stronger defense. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you get alone and you start taking care of yourself, because I know I'm not gonna talk about in this video as much about why it's gonna hurt you. I'm gonna talk about why loneliness or being alone can help you if you're taking care of yourself. If you're taking care of yourself, it's gonna amplify that. So you're gonna be able to, you're gonna be even better. And the reason it does that, I feel like, is because when you in a mental state where you're just focusing on yourself, you know, I think that you have that ability to really get mental clarity out of your goals, where you at in life and where you want to go in life. So it's a much clearer path. It's a much more straightforward path you can go on when you're by yourself. I feel like when you hanging around people and stuff like that, you can still be going on that path, but it's more, I feel like it's trickier because it's easier to get distracted. You get what I'm saying? When you're alone and you are taking care of yourself, you are on semen retention or self improvement, or you just really locked in with being the best version of yourself. um you don't have distractions like that. You can distract yourself even when you're alone, but like I said, if you're taking care of yourself, you're gonna have less distractions, less people to be around, less people to kind of influence you or whatever, or have an impact on you. But that's the thing about the word, like when you fortify yourself, even when you're alone, you build your influence up. You get what I'm saying? So you be the one that start to influence people rather than people influencing you, because you ever get around people and they'll be like, or somebody will come and tell you, oh, hey man, don't hang around him, he a bad influence. You get what I'm saying? A bad influence doesn't affect the person who has a stronger influence. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm the more confident person, if I'm the more outspoken person, if I'm the person that's expressing myself more, I'm gonna influence the other guy more than he's influencing me. So if I have good energy and I'm confident in that, and he has bad energy and he's like, you know, he's not expressing himself as much as me, I feel like the guy who's expressing himself more is gonna be the stronger influence. Even if that guy is he's a bad influence, he's not gonna affect me because my energy and my, aura or whatever you want to call it is stronger than his. So he's not gonna be able to change me. I'm gonna be able to change him. And so I think when you be alone, you fortify you know, your ability to just not be shaken, not be taken off center by things, whether that come from a girl or a friend or anything. You don't be manipulated or influenced by stuff. You be the one that influencing people. You get what I'm saying? Uh, so I just think that's a very important thing. That a lot of guys have to understand that in this generation, man, I don't think it's a good thing to like you shouldn't be promoting to be alone and all that type of stuff. I feel like you should be promoting to be the best version of yourself. And if you have to be alone for some time to get to where you need to be mentally, you know what I'm saying? Because I think, like I said, like I don't think loneliness is inherently a bad or a good thing. I just think it's all about how you use that time, and ultimately, it's all built to bring you back together to have a better relationship with people. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not promoting be a lonely dude or be alone or isolated your whole life. I'm just saying be lonely for the sake or be isolated for the sake of bettering yourself, and then come back a better person around people, a stronger person mentally around people. You get what I mean? I'm not just because you hear seam retention, like a lot of guys might see that as cope or whatever and all that type of stuff, but really I think you have a better dating life when you can talk to a girl and not always be caught up on sex. You have you be in a much more masculine position because a girl can't manipulate you mentally or with her body or with anything. You get what I'm saying? So it puts you in a better position. And I'm a guy that's still gonna promote. Okay, go out there and pursue, not go out there and you know, show interest in women. Go out there and do that. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not out here being like, cold approaching is the best thing or you gonna get the most girls from that. But I'm saying that's you putting action in. That's you taking steps. That's you actually going in the right direction, and you're living in reality and not in your mind like a lot of guys do when they masturbate all day and watch porn all day and stay in their room all day and not do anything with their life. You get what I'm saying? And so I think that's a important thing and something that I have to, you know, get more into because that's something that I struggle with as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for the video. Peace out.